You're about to make those who are a skeptic into a believer, okay? This is such an exciting message. I am really excited to be able to share it with you today. Today is the day. I've been holding back on this one for a little while, and it's such a specific scene in the astral realm that I was observing where I was so heavily being guided on sharing this collective message. It's particularly for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to jump straight into the illustrations just so that you can see what it is that I was seeing. And it was about not just a pessimistic man or a cake or proving someone wrong, but it was quite literally showing consciousness, instinct, and interconnectedness work together within this construct. And it was happening inside of you. Okay, so even a part of you that was once skeptical, or an octave of you that was skeptical about your own potential, you're about to turn that version of self into a believer. I'm even seeing it as in regards to your fear and the things that you've been wanting to apply yourself to. And I'm hearing something around you aligning your actions accordingly. So let's jump straight into it. The first scene I saw was a lemon cake, and I see it as this unlikely creation that's happening, right? Where against all odds, you're somehow completing the impossible. So a lemon cake made under pressure that was mixed with mango, dark in color, unexpected, strange combinations, yet it was extremely delicious. And this symbolizes things like your potential that's emerging even from unlikely conditions, also beauty that's born from contrast, and sweetness mixed into the sharpness, a creation whose value is proven only when embodied. I see this as the psyche's way of showing us that not everything needs to look like light in order for it to hold light. And I refer this to the nefesh, which is the instinctual body or the bound soul that often judges things prematurely based off of how it looks. And I'm seeing this as how the ego or the linear mind, analytical mind, rational mind can judge things prematurely around how they can turn out or what they can evolve into based upon the current conditions of how they seem to appear. And this can talk about even uncertainty, right? The uncertainty that we may have about a particular direction. So we will just prematurely dismiss it, right? And its potential, or the potential that we could have in that particular area of our life. This is the psyche's way of showing us that not everything needs to look like light in order for it to hold light. And it reminds me of nefesh, which is, the instinctual soul or body bound soul that often judges things prematurely based off of how they seem to look right now, or even the uncertainty that we may have around a very particular area of our life, so we can easily dismiss it based off of what our current conditions on earth may appear to be, right? It talks about the logical mind, the analytical mind, and the linear mind. And then I also see the cake as being when the inner worlds begin to blend, like ruach, which is the emotional or spiritual self, or even neshama, which is the higher genius within the mind, or the intellect that begins to override nefesh's or the ego's fear-based expectations. The pessimistic man is the nefesh when it's afraid. He represents the nefesh in its contracted state, that is skeptical, defensive, expecting failure, mistrusting time or mistrusting the process, mistrusting new combinations. This is not an enemy, but it is a part of the soul that does not believe until it sees. It says things like, this won't work, or there isn't enough time, this won't taste good, it's safer to doubt. But the moment he witnessed the creation in the physical, the moment he tasted it, everything opened. And this is how nefesh operates. It has to feel the truth in order to recognize it. The mango is ruach, which is softening the nefesh. The lemon, I see it, is contraction. The mango is all about expansion. So the mango represents things like emotional softness, your intuition, curiosity, the receptivity, trust, and inner warmth. This is ruach uplifting the nefesh. Together they symbolize a reconciliation of instinct and emotion, a balance of caution and creativity, a moment where the soul says maybe instead of never. Being filmed is the awareness of interconnectedness. This is a profound detail because it symbolizes being witnessed, the sense that something larger is observing, a collective field of awareness. In mystical terms, this talks about an individual psyche that is never isolated. Every moment of realization is mirrored through the collective. This is showing us that your doubt is not just yours. Your breakthroughs ripple outwardly, and your optimism feeds this larger web of creation. This aligns with the idea from Jewish mysticism that the nefesh is the most shared layer of the soul, the one most connected to the collective unconscious. The black cake represents the hidden, the mystery, and things like the unknown, the untested, right? The timelines that we have not tested or trialed out yet. The void, the place where new creation emerges, and the womb of possibility. In the Kabbalah, we would refer this to as the black is what the nefesh sees as danger, which would be the ego sees the unknown as something that is a threat, something that they fear, instead of actually making the unknown a friend, right? Actually being excited about the unknown instead of fearful of the unknown. And the Neshama understands that mystery awaits discovery as we begin to lean into it, right? Mystery awaits some type of revelation for us as we lean into the quantum. This is why the transformation only occurs when tasted. This is about experience dissolving fear. Even if we can experience that with the mind, right? We begin to entertain these timelines and what that may be like, what it is that we may see within those timelines. We can live in those frames vibrationally and visually before our arrival in the physical. That embodiment, where we begin to embody that feeling of the future in the present moment, dissolves any type of pessimism because we choose to lean into what actually feels good, and we honor the soul's calling, and we align our actions accordingly, and that reality dissolves any kind of projected fear. And instead we begin to tune into more of I'm hearing higher vibrational octave within ourselves and dimensional layer of this reality that we then begin to experience, because our perception will create our reality, right? The cream represents integration, unity, synthesis, the merging of contrasts, and the final integration. This represents the way your soul weaves things like instinct and emotion, intellect and intuition into a single lived truth. The cream completes the lesson that integration is sweetness after struggle. The shift in his face is the collective interconnectedness. The moment the pessimistic man's mind opened represents a shift in the collective, a vibrational release, a rewiring of possibility, the dissolving of a limiting timeline. Because in the dream, every character is both you and the collective consciousness connected to you. His opening is the opening of your nefesh, the collective nefesh, and the shared human field of doubt into trust. This is where the interconnectedness comes from. When you shift your internal belief, every version of him, every version of you, and every version of the world shifts with you. It's quite literally, sometimes the fear that we're picking up on or the uncertainty does not actually belong to us. It's within the morphogenetic field, right? It's within this interconnected blueprint, and we're tuning into what the collective is actually experiencing and that collective field. The takeaway I got from this is, first of all, something is going to turn out far better than you expect. The nefesh is actually going to lean into trusting your higher faculties, which is, this internal knowing, and what looks questionable in theory is actually going to turn out better in embodiment. I'm hearing even once you kind of get started and begin to trust that. Hold on guys, I have low battery. You could be dissolving some kind of pessimism through experience and not debate. Even if we think about neuroscience, the first 10 minutes of you doing something, it feels absolutely not rewarding at all, because we wait for motivation in order to act. But the thing is, when we act, after 10 minutes, our body begins to emit dopamine. So when we have that biochemical reaction, we actually have a reward system after we act, even if it doesn't feel good at first. So there could be something around you doing it, even if fear is present, or even if doubt is present or uncertainty. And I'm hearing once you get that ball rolling, the snowball, what's that saying? Like the snowball falls. I don't know what's that saying, guys. Let me know. It's like the snowball just, you know, it collects more snow as it moves down, and you begin opening up possibilities that once seemed impossible before, right? So that's what I'm seeing. Right, let's go ahead and open up with a Cosmos Oracle message around this black lemon and mango cake with cream. Yeah, I feel like the best way that you can work with this as well is turning any kind of expectation into humility, right? And any kind of embodiment into integration, and then into awe, right? Things that you actually do, things that you actually align your actions accordingly to, lead to you observing and witnessing something beautiful unfold in your life. Vapor trail, so a mark being left in the historical timeline. This is something that is going to change your perspective on your potential within this realm. And then you also have stratus pause at the base, so this is a transition point, some type of transition that you're going through, some kind of transition point that you're going through is going to lead to something, leaving a mark in the historical timeline. I'm hearing that's going to mark the moment in space and time that forever altered your trajectory. We also have pulsar and parallel. Again, every tiny decision you make, no matter how small it may seem, leads to you accessing timelines that wouldn't have been accessible to you otherwise. They're accessible to the version of you that actually says yes to that thing, or actually says no to that thing, right? And no longer feels that sense of social courtesy or obligation, right? To choose for the simple fact that you once did. So give yourself permission to try something new is also something that I'm sensing, because Pulsar talks about this is a quick and short but also very intense journey at breakneck speed. It talks about intervals or sequences of events, and essentially it's the power of choice. That's what Parallel Universes talks about. I'll go ahead and read it for you. It tells you to be greater than you, okay? To be greater than that fearful octave within yourself. Parallel Universes, the power of choice. How did you become who you are today? How did you get where you are? I feel like this is also embodying a parallel version of self. Again, how can you embody the higher self in physical form? How can you begin to make decisions that honor the soul's highest possible expression, or the highest timelines that the soul can experience through form? So although all your lived situations, events, and experiences have throughout your life been important factors, they're not the answer to these questions. They happen to play a role of the apparent ones, but the real determiner is choice. They may appear as the most obvious reason, but it's in choice which plays a key role. So this is about the application of your free will and how you will experience the journey of your choices, so the things that you decide to do and also the things in which you do not decide to do. Even when we do not have choice or do not take it, we are still choosing, right? Red pill or blue pill, otherwise you're leaving it up to chance. The apparent ones deal the cards of the game of life but do not play. So who does? Choice. And the thing is, you can feel a lot more settled as you begin to make a choice, knowing that the universe is supporting you in whatever choice you do decide to make. It's always going to support your soul's evolution at that given moment within your space-time travels. Because when you're playing cards, you are not just the card dealer, you're not even the opponent that you're playing against, or yourself holding the cards. You are all three combined, right? Omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. You may be experiencing within this dimension limited avatar subjective journey of being the poker dealer or being the poker player, but I'm hearing your greatest advantage lies in your remembrance that you're playing with other manifestations of the one, because one is all and one is all and all is one. And when you tune back into that interconnectedness to all things, you can enjoy the journey of how the game goes without attachment. Instead, there is this humility in witnessing how each card you choose to lay on the table will have a different consequence of outcomes in which you'll get to experience. But you get to experience the journey of that game, is what I'm seeing. So every choice that you have made, okay, they keep saying something along the lines of, something along the line, it's not even about the game itself. Sometimes it's about what happens after, because I'm seeing after like all all of them go to, I don't know, like a restaurant and enjoy themselves. So sometimes something that can feel like a main event is actually like a supporting foundational basis, where maybe it's at that game, at that table, you're meeting someone, or something, someone says something to you, where the universe is speaking to you through everything around you, and it's whether you're paying attention. What messages are you sending yourself through all other extensions, I'm hearing, and varying manifestations of you, essentially. So every choice that you have made, no matter how small or irrelevant it seemed, attracted threads and threads of energy that has molded you into who you are today. If you were a piece of clay dancing softly at the mercy of the rhythm, with every choice, infinite possible webs transpire in other realities. Many of the things that happen to us do not come through choice, but we always choose what to do with them. The decisions of the universe works in mysterious ways, but always in our favor. Our choices are sometimes correct, and other times we can make them be. So that's interesting. There could be something about a new way that you're playing this game. Because I'm seeing someone like at the table where they're playing poker, and maybe through previous kind of playing previous games, they haven't had the best poker face, or they've played it as, oh, this is like you against me. But I feel like now you're taking a seat at this round table, and there's a different level of awareness that you have around, it's like you have outsider information and you're bringing that into the game. So I feel like there is a hidden ace that you have up your sleeve, where things that used to trip over, you kind of step over now, or you just walk over now as if they were nothing. Like things in your external reality no longer have the impact upon you that they once had. Your internal state, or this internal knowing that anchors you around knowing why you're at the table, knowing why you're participating, or why you're choosing this thing for yourself in your soul's journey, is something that allows you to stay seated in that knowing. It's like you have an otherworldly knowing that you're bringing into this game of life, and that is your hidden ace, where you remember, oh, this is an illusion. I'm not playing against myself, I'm playing with myself, and what am I teaching myself through this game, right? So I feel like that's the poker face that you have, where you can't really see it upon the surface, but there is this innate divine intelligent being in which you are, that is navigating this construct, utilizing this vessel. And I'm seeing, the thing is, the vessel is also a mirror. Okay, it's a mirror to others. There could be something that you're mirroring to those around you, which is about trusting this innate knowing, trusting the use of your higher intuitive faculties with the pessimistic man. Yeah, which is super interesting, which changes things in an instant. Okay, it allows you to embody and streamline higher dimensional levels of awareness into this lifeline, is how I'm seeing it. It's like you're carrying alternate perspectives into your current circumstance. That's what I'm seeing. You're embracing your multidimensionality. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And I'm hearing you're also suspending your consciousness into other realms of possibilities. So when I talk about the suspension, it's like the hanged man. Under your current conditions, you're suspending yourself upside down from this tree of knowledge, from this hidden wellspring of knowledge that's allowing you to retrieve and pull back and anchor this other knowing. I'm hearing this otherworldly knowing. Okay, and I'm hearing like you're cultivating a lot of trust around that. So let's also take a look at a shaman's dream oracle message, because it definitely feels like shaman's journey into other worlds. You are journeying into a new world. We have dances on one foot and feast of plenty. Any part of your life is going to be up in the air at any given moment in time, especially when you're going through a profound transition or transformation. And Feast of Plenty talks about choices and their consequences, which is very, very prominent for this reading. The one warning with this card is to avoid choosing the same thing over and over again if you know it leaves you feeling hungry for more. I'm hearing if it doesn't satiate the soul's calling for exploration. Let's go ahead and read Feast of Plenty for you real quick with 20. Feast of Plenty and 20. 20, here we go. Feast of Plenty. Options, choices and their consequences, life's blessing. A great feast is laid out before you and requires you to choose. What will satisfy your hunger? Something new and unconventional with its potential for bitter or savory qualities, or something you know you love. You're faced with a plethora of options right now, and while that may seem to be an extraordinary thing, too many choices can throw you off balance. I keep hearing a dilemma, like, well, you found yourself in a little bit of a dilemma now, haven't you, darling? It reminds you of that. I don't know why, because it feels like, it kind of reminds me of the moment where you're speaking to an octave of yourself, and I'm seeing that traditional theme or scene in a movie where, you know, they walk into like the villain's lair and they have their back against them, and then they turn over on this swivelly chair and they're like, well, that's the kind of scene that I'm seeing. And it's like, you may have this fear, but are you going to act even in the presence of it? It kind of reminds you of that. Or like, everyone's been expecting you to do A, but what if you show up to the round table and you do B? There's just something around there. So you might be worried that once you commit, you won't be able to turn back or refuse to confront the consequences of that decision. I'm also seeing X-ray vision that you have too, where you can see through the cards of others. Like, you can see through intentions and you can decide whether that's really aligned. And I'm hearing every intention from every octave. Anyway, the most important thing to realize is the feast is offering you experience. No amount of overanalyzing or strategizing will help you make the right choice now. Don't debate on the right or wrongness. Instead, just choose. And the choosing is where is the seed of experience, and that's what's necessary now. Sour, bitter, sweet, and savory. What matters is relishing the experience until you digest all your choices offering you right now. And right now there is a black lemon cake with cream. And again, those are like contradictory energies with, again, mango. It's got sweetness, it's got the sour, it's got all these different kind of contrasting flavors, but somehow they work together. One warning is avoid choosing the same thing if it leaves you feeling hungry. If something doesn't feel good or does not bring you what it seemingly promised, do not choose that again. The experience will only repeat itself and you'll have more than a bad taste in your mouth. The feast is yours to enjoy. You can always go back for more when you're hungry again. For life's blessings is ever available for you in calling your name. So again, I'm kind of seeing it as a new way of navigating this construct where your soul is feeling into potential timelines and the sequence of events that will unfold before you make that decision in the physical. It's like you can literally suspend your consciousness beyond the anatomical body. You can send it out into the quantum field to tune into what would that feel like, you know, to make that decision. What would that feel like? That's kind of what I'm seeing. And then you're anchoring back that information. You're making an executive decision around how you want to execute things, how you want to align your actions moving forward, right? Okay, let's get a message from, yeah, let's do one of these. Sure. The magic of the gathering. Tell me about the magic of the gathering. Tell me about, first of all, the lemon cake. So the lemon cake is trust your heart, all right? So there's something that you want to create here. Trust your heart talks about, even though it could seem insane to everyone else around you, right? Even to a very specific octave within yourself, where there's a voice that says, that's crazy, you can't do that, it's the analytical mind, but this is your heart guiding you in ways that the mind doesn't fully understand, especially because you have the unknown. So what is the unknown guiding you towards? Oh my gosh, I've so missed these overlays with the astral travel. I feel like it's been a while since I've done this. So let's take each symbolic interpretation and decrypt it together. Let me read trust your heart first and foremost. Trust your heart. Where are you? Especially because I know it's a very specific, whenever I observe scenes like this in the astral, I'm like, okay, this is something going on in the collective sphere. Let's talk about it. All right, trust your heart. Here we go. Trust your heart. The last time I pulled this message as well, it was in Karnak's temple. All right. So in there, it was all about the solar plexus. So this is about becoming more confident in the choices that your heart's guiding you to make, and cultivating a deep, profound sense of self-trust in that knowing, and again, not doubting yourself. So it's about the relationship that you're cultivating with yourself, essentially. The intellect has created the society and all its rules. To find something new outside of it requires another faculty, the heart. If you follow the heart, you may feel like a crazy person. But if the heart is happy and excited, you're inspired. Listen to it. So I'm just seeing it as, you know, a few different things. Like, those who dance the music appear insane to those who cannot hear it. And I'm seeing, because there's different dimensional wavelengths and frequencies, the ego can't always hear the same bandwidth or frequency that the heart can, right? When we talk about dolphins, they tune into higher frequencies and bandwidths of even sound, right? And also vision. So there's something higher that you're tuning into, where a part of you deeply understands it profoundly, but there's also a paradox, because there's another part that can also profoundly doubt it, you know? And it's learning to embrace that fluidity and that multidimensional nature, but don't get stuck or fixated in one. Just allow yourself to come back into that neutral, non-judgmental state of awareness, right? The observer, because you're not your thoughts, you are the awareness behind it. So when those thoughts do come in, begin to observe them, see what sensation arises within the body. Again, it's cultivating this different kind of connection with yourself in this vessel. What is your body telling you? What are the ancestral themes that are playing out here that you're alchemizing? How can you offer a different perspective? How can you offer your ancestors that are continuing to experience their choices through you, make higher choices, ascended ways of thinking and feeling about your potential on earth? How can you keep interrupting that cycle of familiarity, right? So if you feel like a stagnant stick in the mud, then it's time to surprise yourself. Break out of an old pattern, leap outside of your comfort zone, and do something wild. Satyrs have shown stodgy humans how to break out of their patterns of belief and to live life to the fullest. Then we also have the unknown. So let's talk about the unknown as well. I'm going to read this for you. To be free from fear means that you're not acting just when fear is absent. Otherwise, nothing will really get done. You will act even in the presence of that fear. That's what it is to become greater than your mind, to become greater than your emotions, and to become greater than the physical, right? To master your relationship with the physical. To be free from fear, we must be comfortable with the unknown. Maybe the unknown, which is that black cake, right, is a source of wonder or curiosity and excitement rather than a source of fear and anxiety. If you can make friends with the unknown, you'll find that you're living in the greatest mystery of all time. If the fear of the unknown has become overwhelming, breathe, focus only on your breath going in and out. Return back to yourself. Return back to the eternal now. Trust in the ordering principle of the universe, the principle that has created the galaxies and planets. You are a part of it, and if you let go, it will guide you. No one tells the trees when autumn rolls around to shed their leaves. They don't question what they're shedding their leaves for. There is this innate, intelligent, self-organized system that we're existing in, and that innate divine intelligence is also you. You know when it's time to shed something. You know when it's time to make room for a new season. You know when it's time to grow into a new season of yourself. Oh, just think about that. A new season of yourself. What would you look like in springtime? What would you look like in summer versus winter and autumn? What do you look like moving through these cyclical cycles of the seasons? What octave of you is ready to come out and play? What do you want to investigate or dive deep into within another? What version of yourself are you diving into in order to bring out? Right, so Kruphix is the god of mysteries and time. He speaks in whispers, insights, and mystic visions. So again, this is like this internal knowing and this vision that you're receiving. I love this so much. So much. And then we even have toxic thoughts behind that. So again, observing those thoughts, right? That's the toxic thoughts energy. Right, let's take a look at the second. Let's take a look at the pessimistic man. Tell me about the pessimistic man. Neshama. You are your words. We have quite a few. Let's try and get one. We have tunnel vision, Cyclops. So again, this is the version of you with tunnel vision, can get stuck in one way of doing things, and then you have breaking free here at the base. And then it's interesting because there's one card that's popping out here, and this is the focus. So again, how can you return your focus, right? How can you restore your focus back to this internal knowing with the owl, right? Okay, let's go ahead and read this as well. Where is the card? Tunnel vision. I'm hearing sometimes we get so tuned in and stuck to in the timelines of what could go wrong that we don't begin to entertain, well, what if it all went right? What if it went better than expected? Life is complex, and there are many ways to look at an issue. This is the thing about multidimensional beings, in which you are. One circumstance, many perspectives. When you allow that fluidity to happen and you begin to lean into different perspectives, now you're mastering the different dimensions that are coexisting within you. And you understand what octave, what frame, what perception you're viewing this one circumstance from. Is it a fearful octave? What are you going to choose, love or fear? So, our base instincts, this is so nefesh, oh my gosh, this is so on key. Okay, tends to make us think things as only one way so that we survive. Let's just take a moment of appreciation. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. It's so on point that it's not even funny. We just have to take a moment to appreciate. Our base instincts tend to make us see things only one way so that we can survive. But we are no longer in the Stone Age. So in search of your own truth, let go of fear and keep your mind open and curious. This is literally the human state of evolution at that given moment in time will be dependent upon the part of the brain that they're accessing. I'll do a whole nother session on this for you guys. I can really describe it, especially with illustrations, so that you can see what I'm seeing as far as like the amygdala and the autonomic nervous system, and how the sympathetic nervous system becomes activated. Like you literally go into fear, and you're an organism, so organisms become paralyzed by fear. If you think about the Stone Age and the amygdala and the reptilian brain, it's hunt, it's survive, it's to feel safe through familiarity. That octave, that's all it knows. It's doing the best with the information that it knows. So understand this vessel, understand that's one octave within you, but it's not all whom you are, right? So, but we are no longer in the Stone Age. So in search of your own truth, let go of fear and keep your mind open and curious. The first way that you can combat that tunnel vision is to, instead of be fearful, become more curious, especially be curious around why that fear is there. Okay, so fear, hurt, anger, and strong desire are all capable of overwhelming our conscious rational minds and can turn us into unconscious monsters. If you don't understand your shadow, you will become it. You will embody it. And if you don't understand your shadow or your unconscious, it will continue to guide your life and you'll just call it fate. I guess I'm fated to stay in this same domain of reality that I've always been in because everything is against me and I am subject to forces beyond my control. This is victim mindset. Come on, we're moving out of Saturn and Pisces and Neptune and Pisces. Things will be changing. Okay, so this is about even just collectively, right? We're no longer standing in this passive bystander of our own life, right? Or becoming a passive observer. No, this is literally about sovereignty, autonomy, and consciously guiding your life towards your chosen destination, becoming lucid within this construct. You're not your thoughts, you're the awareness behind it. Begin to observe them, get curious and understand them, and hold space for it. So watch out for the powerful emotions that make us zealous, idealists, and destroyers of all other options, right? So myopic lust for destruction. And then we talk about breaking free at the base. So this is something that you are breaking free simply by observing, right? When we talk about rouage, which is the next stage of consciousness, I'm going to do a whole I guess, like, workshop on this to really break that down, because I feel like this is very important information to know, that should help you understand it. But it's how you begin to separate instantaneously from the nefesh. It's the moment that you begin to separate instantaneously and you recognize yourself as not those thoughts, that actually becomes this separation. So let's talk about breaking free real quick. Where is it? It's the last card in the deck. So we have breaking free. Breaking free of conditioning takes the courage to go it alone. You must take on responsibility of being the creator of your own reality. If your heart is telling you to leave the safety of the herd, follow it. If it's not checked, fear's non-stop chatter can take our attention away from our heart and drain our energy. Put the fearful mind on hold and get back into touch with what lights you up. And Satya, okay, so he worked with Satya, which is super interesting. So Satya is the being that allows you to trust your heart. So they actually work in tandem, right? This is saying that they actually are complementary forces, even if it doesn't seem like it. These are beings who broke all rules and achieved the status of a god just for fun, right? So this is taking too seriously what the gods made for fun. And the other interesting thing that, like, I'm thinking about is how when you are in fight or flight, or the autonomic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system is activated, your blood actually pumps away from the heart. It moves towards your outer limbs, right? So you're ready to fight. You go into fight or flight mode and you disconnect from the heart. You disconnect from yourself, so you actually disconnect from your interconnectedness to all things, which is remembering yourself as the timeline. You also are the opportunity. You literally are, again, think it, feel it, watch it unfold, right? Follow the breadcrumbs, follow the signs, and you'll witness the unfoldment of what is already mine. It's that type of energy. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next thing, which is, let me take a look at the symbology. So we have the cake. We also did the pessimistic man. Let's do the mango. So the mango, all right, this is going to be a little bit of a longer read. That's all right. The mango is the softening of that nefesh, right? The mango is the softening of the ego. It's understanding that fearful octave is asking to be held. It's asking to be safe. So how can you guide and hold the hand of that inner child, right? Of that fearful self, and understand the unmet needs of that octave, right? It seeks for safety. It seeks for knowing. Creative fire. So the mango represents that creative fire, being able to channel that out, right? This is about the intuition, the receptivity, the uplifting energy. Creative fire is a beautiful card as well. I think the last time we actually pulled this was in the Giza complex. So to live your life, every card comes with a memory. So with the work of art, you must bring love and attention into your words and actions, whether it's in a small way or an intense flame or blazing passionate forge. Start consciously creating your life now. Don't let the fire go out. To rebuild the flame, take time to go within. Start small and breathe life back into yourself. This is the god of creation, a wild artist at heart. Which is so interesting because, again, as we are in numerical one is the fire, and fire is the heart space. The heart space is an instant alchemization portal. Whenever we feel fear, how can we come back into the heart? How can we begin to connect with that fear instead of trying to compartmentalize these different octaves within ourselves? They actually live in tandem. And how can you begin to actually become friends and hold space and unconditionally accept that aspect of self? That's what unconditional love is. It's to love yourself at every stage of your journey, to love every single version of yourself, even whom you've been, right? Beautiful. Okay, let's get one more. So we have the mango. Let's also do the cameras. So the guy was being filmed. Let's take a look at the cameras and your interconnectedness to all things. What message have you got around this? Let's try and get one. We have like 4. It's like everything that came up before. Higher power. Okay, so higher power talks about the council of Heloid. we'll read it. And it also talks about present awareness. So your awareness allows you to come back into that counsel, and it feels like an internal counsel, right? Like you're counseling yourself. And when you think about the Galactic Federation, like it is you, these are octaves of you. It also has divided itself into all these different subdivisions, all these different fractals of awareness to play with itself, right? So you're also a fractal of that infinite potential. I'm hearing you're a fractal of the whole network. The ancient Greek Stoics believed in the logos. The logos was the way, the geometry of life, the physics of the cosmos, and the nature of our being. What is your logos? Where do you turn when your intellect cannot find an answer? Whatever you believe, there are times when we must let go and feel a power greater than us. Look at the stars on a clear night or sit by the ocean. The answer often comes when we marvel at the grandeur of the cosmos. Pondering the universe can also dissolve the need for questions entirely. On Theros, the gods are very real. Kings, queens, and sages seek their counsel when grave matters arise. Then we have present awareness at the base, right? So your awareness is your torch. I'm hearing even all external networks bring you back into your own internal networks, leading you towards your etheric origins, your cosmic origins. I'm hearing reality keeps reinforcing to you what it is that you already know. Sorry guys, I had to change my battery. So, present awareness. The time is always now, but the idea of time, thoughts about the future and the past occupies our minds almost entirely. See if you can stay rooted in the now and think about the past and the future only when necessary. So you time travel with the mind. Really, you only ever experience the now, because when your consciousness travels into the past, you can relive a very specific event that has happened. Even with quantum healing, you can change what has happened in that event via your imagination and your feeling, right? Your thoughts and your feelings in that event will change the way that you experience it. And I'm hearing you repair the grids within those timelines. So healing is not linear. I'm hearing it's something that is spherical in motion, because again, time is also spherical. So that's with the past, right? So you're a time traveler, but with the mind. Now, when we think about the future, again, you cannot physically enter into those events, just like you can't physically enter the past through the physical body, but you can in your energy layers. That's the way that I'm seeing it too. Similar to the astral plane, but you're training lucid interdimensional travel essentially when that happens. Now, in the future, you can do the same thing, but it's a little bit different, where you can tune into different future outcomes before they unfold, where you can arrive mentally, you can visually see what it's like, you can arrive emotionally and sensationally take yourself there before your arrival on the physical, okay? So I'm hearing, and it's already happened, it's already existing simultaneously. So be aware of where you want to return back to and where you want to access that you have already accessed, right? So if you're future tripping or stuck reliving a memory, it's a sign that you have gone unconscious and you're flying on autopilot. It's time to wake up, orient yourself, and stop time traveling. 𝓤𝓪𝓬𝓮 is a master of time, a power that has taught him both wisdom and humility. So, present awareness. With that being said, I'm going to love and leave you guys right there. I feel like that's going to be a good place to see you off onto your beautiful space-time travels, and I hope to see you guys again very, very soon. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing, because I'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. Also check out Ultra Spirit if you're looking for some high quality AAA grade jewelries, gemstones, crystal balls. $1 of the proceeds are donated towards author sanctuaries, 2 discount codes in the description box, and until next time, bye!